Hey, it's Cullen Moss.
Hi, this is Deborah Christopherson.
Hi, I'm Taryn Dreifat.
And
You're listening to Fandom Family Chats.
Hey guys, welcome back to FFC. I'm Maureen.
And I'm Jeanette.
And we have a special for you tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about our one favorite character from all of the shows that we do. One character, just one per show. We have 17 groups now in case you are curious. So check our description in our YouTube channel or in our podcast feed and you'll find all of the 17 groups that we have. So I think we're going to get started with, I have a list here and I'm just going to go right down the list. This is no particular order. It's not like one show's a favorite over the other.
We so hard.
Wrote down the shows I could remember in the order I could remember them. So we're going to start. This is not going to be a hard one. We're starting off with an easy one for you, Jeanette. It's a little harder for me, but it's super easy for you.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Teen Wolf.
Styles Stilinski.
Without even any hesitation.
He's at the top of the list of all these characters. So this is perfect. Yeah.
Even over PD, I thought PD was rising above him.
They're kind of, well,
See?
I need a little more time on that one. Styles is like nostalgic. And I just watched the Not Okay movie. So Dylan's like in my brain right now.
So for Jeanette's anniversary, which was today, she watched Not Okay with her husband.
It was pretty good. Dylan was hilarious. Like very unstyles like. We'll put it that way.
So, I love Styles,
Mhm.
but I don't think he's my favorite in that show.
Please don't say that.
He's one of them, which is my problem.
Okay.
Because I like the funny characters. So there's Isaac,
Well, who's funnier than Styles?
Isaac and Styles.
Okay.
And then Styles, and if you take Sheriff Stilinski with Styles,
It's funny too.
and then Chris Argent. I almost called him Daddy Argent, which would have
That's what I call it.
coming out. I know it is. That's why I felt weird saying it. And then there is Peter. I like all those guys. I don't know.
You were supposed to say one. And you made me only pick one. And here you named 6 of them.
Please, that is the only one you would pick from Teen Wolf.
Well, I mean, Isaac and Peter are there too. They're like right below him.
See, I don't know which one I would pick. I'm not going to talk about it. I got to pick one to talk about. But it's harder for me on these because I go for funny and start. Oh, so I guess it will have to be Styles because he has made me laugh the most on that show.
Yes.
But Peter is also really funny. Unintentionally, but he's really
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess Styles, yeah, because I do.
Styles.
Is from that when I think of Teen Wolf, I think of that very first episode
Mhm.
when he, what does he say? Something about the Scarlet Letter. I don't know. He tells Scott that he's like the
Scarlet nerded him or something.
Yes.
Like
Scarlet nerding. And that's when I think of Teen Wolf. That's the scene that automatically pops into my mind every single time. There's this meme that is the most unbelievable thing about Teen Wolf is that this guy, and they put up a picture of Styles, is completely ignored by every female at the school.
Mhm.
They act like he's some ugly nerd.
Yeah. I know he's not ugly at all. I mean, I guess, him and Scott,
Their
thing is,
personalities are goofy, but
they look like average teenagers in a midst of like what is like on all these teen shows. No one looks like an average teenager.
that's true.
Whereas these two do look like average teenagers. So maybe that's the issue.
Maybe, I don't know. All right, so Styles for both of us. All right, we'll say Styles. Okay,
Mhm.
next one. We're going to do these separate, although it's one group. So we have the Vampire Diaries group. So we're going to do one of the originals
Okay.
and
That
one of the
helps.
Vampire Diaries. I know it would. I'm trying to hook a girl up.
Yay.
So Jeanette's is Elijah for the originals.
Yes.
Her fiance.
Mhm.
I think that's mine too, because Elijah overall in this universe, Elijah's my favorite guy.
Mhm. As he
Overall.
should be.
He's just, I think I didn't know a lot about him because I
Mhm.
haven't seen the originals yet because Netflix took it off. I don't know if you guys know this.
I'm
We
so
were gonna
mad
s-
about this.
We were going to start watching the originals the other night when we did our Vampire Diaries episode, which you would have seen a couple weeks ago. And Jeanette and I went to Netflix that night and it was gone except for season 5. I can't start at season 5.
Well, I could, I guess, since I've seen them. I
I
thought
can't.
about it.
I was so confused. I was like, wait, because I know who Hope is,
Mm-hmm.
but Hope was in the episode 1 of season 5 and I was so confused how she got that old that fast. So
Yeah.
but it will be coming to HBO Max. I'm looking forward to that. So Elijah, I didn't know a lot about him, but it was meeting him at the Vampire Diaries convention that really was like, he's a kind of a lot like his personality of Elijah, only he's more willing to smile and laugh.
Yeah.
But he's got that same British dry humor.
Oh,
I
I
like
can't
this.
wait.
For those of you who do not know, Creation Entertainment puts out a Vampire Diaries convention every year. And they have the originals and Vampire Diaries. They just, where do they go? Do they go to Nashville in May?
They did go to Nashville in May, and then they were in New Jersey in July. Just
Oh, I thought they were in New
actually, they're
Jersey
in
in
New
September.
Jersey this weekend. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
And then in September, when we are going, it will be in Chicago. So if you want to catch up with Fandom Family Chats, we'll be at that convention in Chicago. So look that
Yay.
up. So Elijah's my favorite dude. Why do you like Elijah?
I mean, I guess I have to
Usually.
say more than just because he's hot. No, I mean, I just love his persona. I love how he's so like calm, cool, and collected in his suits. And then
When he
when he like
unbuttons it.
breaks bad, he gets a little crazy. And I also love like his loyalty for his family is like, I mean, all of the Michelsons are loyal to each other, but I think Elijah most of all. Like I mean, the love that he has for Klaus, after all Klaus has put him through over the years,
Yeah.
I mean, it's admirable for sure. So I mean, I think that's it. I think he's a good guy, as much as
He
you can
is.
say this about like a blood-sucking like murderer, because that's what he is. But
He doesn't
he's a
murder people who don't deserve it, does he?
well, I mean, he probably did early on.
Well, a long time ago, but not anymore.
And I mean, I guess
He's a reformed
deserve it.
vampire.
I don't know if all these people deserve it, but that's probably a stretch of that word. But no, I think it's not like he just goes out and murders innocents. This is true. He does not do that anymore.
Anymore. That needs to be tacked on.
I mean, I think he did that early. You know,
It
before
was a
control his
learning
urges.
curve.
Yeah, you know, you got to learn.
He didn't ask to be made a vampire. His crazy mother did it to him.
True.
It's not his fault. All right. How about the Vampire Diaries?
Damon Salvatore.
Damon. Mine's Matt Donovan.
You liar. That is no one's favorite. That is no one's favorite.
I like that you were only confused for about a millisecond.
I feel like we need to do girls and guys on these, Maureen, because I just realized that I'm going to pick a man on every single one of these. And that's going to make me look really bad.
Okay. All right. So we'll do it. This will be easy for me because Caroline is my favorite female in all of this universe. I love Caroline. She's my favorite. But I also don't know. Remember, I've never seen the originals except for the first episode. Maybe I got through 2.
You know, Caroline would be my favorite on the Vampire Diaries. Haley is like my favorite female of all the Vampire Diaries universe. So she would be my originals one.
Dude, I don't know. It would be a toss up between Tyler and Damon. Maybe Damon because he's got the better redemption arc.
Yeah, you're going to need to watch the originals and come back to me on this Tyler nonsense. So
I know, but if you're just going by Vampire Diaries alone, Tyler's pretty great.
I did like Tyler until
he stops appearing after a bit on Vampire Diaries, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he goes away, and then
because I know he went away before I stopped watching it. But does he stay for the rest of the season then when he comes back?
Well, I can't remember. I know that. I mean, do you know his like what happens to him at the end? Because I don't know if I should say.
No, I don't.
Okay, well then maybe
I should pick up watching season 4 of the Vampire Diaries tonight.
Yeah, because I think there's rumor that's going somewhere too. So maybe you need to finish it up real quick.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That was in our group. Okay. So what is your favorite girl from just the Vampire Diaries? Not the originals.
Caroline.
Caroline.
Yeah,
Okay.
Caroline.
For the originals, yours is Haley and Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna have to go Rebecca and Rebecca.
Rebecca's a good, yeah. No, she's a good choice too.
Because I know who Rebecca is. I know who Haley is because she was in the very first episode.
But you don't really know her yet,
No.
so I can understand. Yeah.
Okay, so let's back up one then for the Teen Wolf. Lydia is my girl.
Lydia. I feel this is gonna be awkward because I feel like we're gonna have a lot of the same answers.
I know, but that'll be right.
Okay.
I actually, here's the thing we won't have in common.
Because we're correct.
That's right.
There we go.
But here's what will differ maybe.
Okay.
I prefer Lydia to Styles.
Oh no.
I think it's the other way for you. Or they're equal.
It is close. I mean, Styles, okay. It's because I mean, we all know I'm obsessed with Dylan. And so like he's gotta be above Lydia, but it's real close. It's real close. I love her.
First of all, she's crazy smart.
Yes.
Crazy stupid smart. She's loyal.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also, her humor matches mine. She's got a very, very dry wit and she's super sarcastic. And I mean, honestly, if you want to be my friend, that's the way in. Be sarcastic and funny.
No, I think, I mean, I love her. I mean, she's, and the thing, I know here we're jumping back. What I love about her and Styles both, like I know she eventually understands her banshee skills and all that, but for the most of the show, she did not. And like those two were always willing to like jump right in there with all these other supernatural creatures and fight these battles, knowing they have no abilities to like actually do anything.
Styles literally had nothing except a bat.
So it's just their loyalty for their friends. And so
I
that's
do
what
love
like.
the final episode when Styles hands the bat over to Mason, or not Mason,
Yes.
Liam. He's like,
Yes.
I don't need, or no, he did hand it to Mason because Mason
Yeah,
was the
he had
sidekick.
Mhm.
And Mason was like, I don't need it, just take the bat.
Yes.
All right, so we've got Styles and Lydia are both of our tops for Teen Wolf.
Mhm.
I've got Rebecca and Elijah for my
Mhm.
originals, Haley and Elijah for Jeanette.
Yes.
I've got Caroline, and Damon. I think it was tossed up between Damon and Tyler, but Damon, and same for you, Caroline and Damon.
Same.
I'm willing to bet I'm going to be Delana by the end, which is going to be a super weird thing for
You
me.
are.
So it was definitely Delana up, and that's why I stopped watching because I hated Ripper Stefan,
Mhm.
and Elena was starting to leave Stefan, and I didn't like that. That's why I stopped watching it. They're breaking apart my team.
No, you're gonna be there. Trust me.
All right, let's go into the Resident. This is gonna be a trickier
Okay.
one.
We might be different here.
I think so.
Okay. It's my favorite guy by a very close margin. I just want to make sure I say this very, very, very close. But if you're forcing me to choose, it's Devin. And girl, I think I'd say Billy.
The girl would be harder for me.
There's not as many girls to choose from.
That's
really.
exactly it. They have really pretty male doctors. A lot of females in there.
Yeah.
Mine is Conrad.
Yeah.
That's my guy. But it's because he's so forceful in his compassion. And he's a maverick. And I love that. I like that he goes off grid. His diagnostic skills are insane.
Yeah.
And he's just, admittedly, he's the reason I started watching the show in the first place.
Yeah.
Which I think is for a lot of our team.
Yeah, he is me too.
I mean, Gilmore Girls is our way into 90% of the shows I watch.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
And plus, like, his voice is cool.
That is cool.
I like when
you're going to convince me to change my mind. No,
when he gets real serious, his voice drops like 3 octaves.
Yeah.
And he gets real quiet. And it's like gravelly and it's neat sounding. So all those things. And he's very, very, very crazy good at what he does. And he just doesn't care if someone else is wrong. He's not he's not arrogant.
Yeah.
But he just knows that he's right. So he's going to do the right thing because he knows he's right.
I can agree with that. I think Devin, like when I think about if I was a doctor, which I'm not going to be, but if I was, I think his style of, like, I think back to that one about the inmate that was in there and Conrad wanted to do something to try to get information from him. It was something a little unethical, but it was for the right reasons. But Devin wasn't having any part of it. And I think that's more of who I am. That's more of where my morals are. Like, I know, like, I couldn't do something that is wrong, even if it's for the right reason.
Yeah.
Unless it involved my kids, because that's a different, whatever. But on a
Devin is definitely more from a morally high point.
Yes. Not that Conrad's bad. I mean, I'm not saying
no, he's not.
He's willing to bend just a little bit.
Like with that patient that Devin in that first episode was brain dead, and Conrad went to turn off her machine. Yeah. Devin, there's no way Devin would have ever done that.
No.
I mean, for goodness sake, Devin's the one who saved her, even though she would have no quality of life after that. That's their different. I think they're the same in essentials, though. Yeah. Obviously, Conrad trained Devin, so they're very similar in that way. But just one is kind of like in some of our other shows, like PD. One route will do it the right way to get the same result, and the other one will just do whatever means necessary to get that result. Yeah. As for girl, man, I don't know. Talk about why you like Billy so much, and then I'll talk about what girl I like best.
I mean, honestly, it's a shot in the dark here because, like, we don't have a lot of strong female leads on this.
Oh, I got one.
Nick she was just never my favorite. No. I don't know why. I can't really say why. Mina was great, but I didn't relate to her in any way, so I don't know that I could pick her as a favorite. I love I love them all. I think Billy. I think she's strong in her convictions for her patients. I like that we saw that she obviously made some huge mistakes in the past, fought her way back from that, and is now, chief of neurosurgery. Yeah. I liked her story arc, I think, to see her come from where she was when they introduced her versus where she is now. I think mine's Kit. Okay. I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think of her right away either. Because you're thinking of the doctors who are active on the floor, and she's CEO now. So I do love Kit. But before she became CEO, like she's always put herself in the place of her patients. She's always made the decision that she thinks that she would make in that position, or that she would think a family member would make for her in that position. And she's been very kind and compassionate, not just to the other staff,
helping them when they need help. But to the patients, she's made them feel comfortable enough that they trust her, so she's able to do her job and heal them and fix them up. And then as CEO, I mean, she's just killing it.
No, I totally agree with that choice.
Favorite couple on the show would be Belle and Kit for me.
Yeah, it's the only couple that's really lasting. Other than, I mean,
Nope.
Nick and Connor.
Jessica and Jessica.
Well, it's because they never show them.
I know. Seriously,
I
The
just-
Resident, you have at least one more season. Can you please give us our background characters this year?
Something. I was going to say, like, I mean, I know people don't, and I know this is all because of our interview with Michael Hogan. I love Dr. Nolan. We say this every time, and
I
will
liked him
continue
before the
to say it
interview.
every time. I definitely did too, but I think the interview put us over the edge because he's just, I mean, he's an awesome guy. Like, if you guys haven't seen that, please go back and watch it. He is funny and he's like just so much fun to talk to. It will make you appreciate Dr. Nolan. Absolutely.
I don't know why there isn't more of him. And even like Dr. Cho.
Yeah.
Why did we need that crazy other anesthesiologist? We have Dr. Cho. Show us these
just-
people.
This is like the one show where like you've got all these awesome background characters that you don't pull forward. Like we actually notice the background characters in
Yes.
the show. So like obviously they're doing something great. Like there's Hunley. I mean, like there's really good like side characters that we do not focus on.
And then they keep bringing in these new people and put them at the forefront. No one cares about them.
We don't need them.
All right, let's move on to This Is Us. Favorite guy from This Is Us.
This one's hard because I mean I love them all. But I think Kevin, and I swear to God, it's not because he's like the hot one. Like I swear it's not. Like Kevin was the character that I think I related to the most. Like when they would show just sort of him as a kid and how he got sort of ignored because he seemed okay and he seemed like he could handle it. Like that was me as a kid, you know? And so I think I related to his story of just sort of always acting like happy and like everything's going great and like inside like maybe you're not. And so I think he's my favorite for that reason, not just because he's hot, even though he is.
There is, that plays a tiny part in there at least.
Yeah, I mean a little bit, but I like him a lot.
For me, it's Jack Pearson.
Okay.
Because
There are
that's
no
who,
wrong answers on this.
no, there isn't.
None.
And I mean, it's actually a toss up between Randall and Jack.
I love Randall too. So yeah.
Jack, because he's a little more understanding of other people's feelings sometimes.
Okay.
And that's the only reason he's got the edge up. And I mean, again, it's another Gilmore character that drew me to a show. So
yeah.
But
Same.
he is who I would want for me if I were looking for a husband. Yeah, I don't want the alcohol addiction, but who he was as a father.
Yeah.
And who he was in essentials as a spouse, that's who I would want for me, or even for my daughters. I would want a husband who's that devoted to my my daughters. And so and you can't go wrong with how Milo played out that part.
Yeah. I think the same could be said for Randall too. Because I
absolutely, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Randall and Beth are who like I always think of it. I mean, like their marriage goals, but honestly, it reminds me of me and my husband in a lot of ways because they're not like this, like
perfect.
I don't know. They don't sugarcoat it for each other. They tell it like it is, but like you can tell they're, you know, cheerleaders. So which brings me to Beth is my favorite female character. That one's much easier.
With that.
Not that I don't love Rebecca and Kate and all of them, but Rebecca.
I do.
I mean, Beth is my favorite.
But Beth is, I didn't see, now there was a season there where I wasn't a huge fan of Beth. And it was that one where she basically told Randall, it's time for me to do what I want now. And you're just going to follow along or you're going to suck it up or you're going to leave. I didn't like that. I wanted to see them continue to be partners. But I mean, sometimes that happens in a marriage where someone feels overridden so often that they just break out. I just wanted them to maintain their perfect couple goals. And they didn't.
But it didn't last long. Them having those. So I think
the only time I didn't like her. But beyond that, every other episode, I was like, man, I love Beth Pearson.
I want to be like her when I grow up.
Yes,
that's what I think.
Absolutely. And the
even though we're like the same age, probably, you know. But.
The only reason I wouldn't want Randall for my girls is because I know what my girls are like. And they could not handle Randall.
True.
They just could not. Beth is a special kind of woman to be able to handle Randall.
Absolutely.
I mean, and she handles everything. Like she just, I do kind of want to be Beth Pearson.
Definitely.
I really do. All right. OBX, Outer Banks.
JJ. I'm not going to say Rafe. Okay. Not.
But that is the one she really wants to say is Rafe.
You know what? Okay. I'm going to phrase this differently. Rafe to me is the most interesting character on the show. He is the one that I'm just like, oh my God, like this is craziness. But JJ is my favorite. JJ makes me laugh. JJ's, I mean, 100%. He's wonderful.
And he's damaged.
Which I like too.
Yes. But I mean, he's got this kind of pain that you can kind of relate to, especially if you come from trauma. You can relate to that so deeply.
Absolutely.
And I would also like to point out that the other reason you like Rafe so much is because when you like a show, you do some outside research on the characters that doesn't have to do with the show, and you looked up.
Yeah.
Remind me his name.
Why can't I think of his last name? That's what I'm like struggling with. It's Drew. Drew's his first
Is it
name.
Starsky or something like that?
Drew Starkey.
Starkey, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yes, that did it.
So she did a lot of
blame TikTok.
outside research on him.
I blame TikTok. There were all these like thirst trap videos with him in it that everybody posted, and somehow like my mind got changed.
To be fair,
he's really like I've seen like
funny.
interviews with him and like the guy that plays JJ. I am blanking. It's
Rudy.
late, guys. Rudy, yes. Like they're like BFFs in real life, and like their interactions together, it's adorable.
Yeah. And I think like for Rafe, you can see in what we saw in season 2 is that he's not actually evil and wicked. There's something wrong with him mentally that he's desperately trying to tell people, I'm not right. Please get me help. And everyone's like, yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. I want to see a redemption arc for him because I think it would be a great one if we could like.
Yeah. I don't think there is one for Ward because he's choosing to be that way.
Yeah.
Rafe is not choosing this. So if someone could just get this man some help and some medication, I think he'd be okay.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So JJ is my favorite guy on OBX because he's relatable. He's funny. He is super loyal. And if he loves you, like he's yours.
Yes.
Even and I don't just mean romantic love. I mean platonic. I mean it all. Like if he is on your team, he's on your team forever. No matter what.
Yeah, I agree.
The girls are going to be a little harder for me.
For me, it's Kiara.
I don't really. She makes me mad.
She does make me mad. There are times when she makes me mad, but I think the same things you just said about JJ being loyal and being ready to fight for his team no matter what. I think I could say the same about her. Those boys she would do anything for those boys.
Until they do something that she doesn't agree with. Like when John B first started dating Sarah, she was not there for John for a while until she reconciled with Sarah, and then she was there for John B.
I think she would have been though. If I don't know. I think it was like a little tiff. I don't think it lasted very long.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
But it took her reconciling with Sarah for her to return to being there in John B's corner.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't choose her over Sarah, so she stopped being in his corner.
He sort of just threw Sarah in her face, knowing how she felt about it. So I think he was a little wrong in that situation.
Did he really know really how she felt about it? Because I don't think she told anybody why she felt that way or how she felt.
He didn't bother to ask. Don't get me started on that.
Does he have to though for his own girlfriend?
Yeah, when he just brings her over and like, hey, like let's just make you part of our treasure hunt without even consulting the rest of the team. I feel like that needs to be consulted. If we're hunting for treasure, you don't bring in outside people until you've talked to everyone about it.
Yeah, I think I would choose Sarah or Key because she's a little shrug.
I like Sarah too. I mean, I don't know. She's I don't know.
Because here's the thing, Sarah doesn't care about who you are or where you come from.
That's true.
I feel like Key would more care if you're from Pogue or from her side.
Yeah.
Which I can't.
But I think that's because she feels like she's been like mistreated by those people. And so like, I don't know. I think the other Pogues would also feel that way, other than John B, because he thought she was pretty. Like,
oh, they do, except for Pope. Pope doesn't always. Well, Pope sometimes feels that way.
Yeah, I think they all kind of do.
Yeah, and I guess it's easier having that attitude when you come from the top. But that's what I do like about her because I like that altruistic sort of thing where she just doesn't care where you come from. Yeah. If you're in her corner, you're in her corner. If you're not, you're not. Even like with Rafe, like she up until he tried to, kill her. She wanted to help him and she wanted to, and even with Topper, she wanted to help him at first. And, but again, she makes me mad too. Like when her and John B sort of break up and then Topper comes over and she just accepts that. Like,
yeah, I think sometimes she can be too much in her own world.
Yeah.
Like with the rape thing, like she may have wanted to help him, but like, did you really see that he needed help? Did you really make an effort?
Yeah.
I mean, Topper, I know he's crazy and he's got like a low jack on you, which is weird, but like, you also kind of let him on a little bit sometimes. Like, so.
Oh, absolutely.
I think and I don't think it's on purpose. I think she's just in her own world too much sometimes.
Because even when she went over there, it wasn't like she was in his face flirting with him. It was, I need help and you're available. So can I stay here? But that to Crazy Pants was like, oh, we're back together then? Like,
I mean, to a man that's in love with you, like you can't do that. Like
Topper's like legitimately Crazy Pants.
Yeah.
Even, okay, here's the thing. When a crazy person looks at you and says, whoa, that's too much.
Exactly.
Probably examine your life a little bit.
Yeah.
And the look on his face when Rafe was like, you're tracking my sister?
right?
And Topper just trying to be off like, no, this is normal. It's normal. It's safe.
Yeah.
All right, Grey's Anatomy. Mine are probably going to be
Oh.
similar to yours because I don't watch this show, but I know of some of the characters. Oh, actually, my dude might not be the
Why
same as
did
yours.
this one just throw me? Okay, girl is April. Okay, like there's no question about it. The guy I struggle with because
It's not the guy who you mourned?
well, no, because okay, he's the most attractive for sure. But if I'm talking like who is like my absolute favorite character, it's Alex, I think. Yeah, it's Dr. Karev.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh, this one's like hurting my head. Look, I mourned DeLuca because it was shocking. I saw
For days. You mourned him for days.
I still mourn him when I think about it.
He is the man
I gotta
by whom
pick
we
two.
measure all of Family Fan Club's deaths by.
Mhm. You're
You
gonna
gotta
have
pick
to allow
one.
me
You have to
to
choose. You
no,
have
you
to
have to
choose.
allow me.
You made me choose a Teen Wolf. You gotta choose one.
Karev. It's gotta be Karev.
DeLuca is
Character,
rolling
if I-
over in his grave.
Don't hurt me like that. No, I will say though, DeLuca, it also hurt because, and see, you haven't watched this. He had such a story to tell. Like he was bipolar. Okay. And like we had just kind of gotten that under control. And like, let me tell you, this actor was like amazing in his manic, I mean, it was legit. It seemed so real. It was great. And then they let him go before we had like time to really like, I don't know. I was hoping for where we could see like him high functioning, being able to do this stuff, like taking care of himself and doing what he needed to do. And then he was gone before we really got to see much of that. So it was disappointing. But I have to pick Karev because Karev went from this guy that you just wanted to punch in the face every time he walked on screen to the head of pediatrics, who was like the most loving.
He was
man
pediatrics.
possible.
I don't think I realized that.
Yeah. So
'Cause I
like
know who
his
he is.
character growth is probably one of the best. A lot of people would say that they ruined him in the way that he left the show. I do not, because
As a person or as a character?
as a character. Because he left his current wife, he wrote her a letter and went to be with his ex-wife Izzy and their kids, because he just found out he had kids with her.
Multiple?
Twins. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Like, how did he not catch
There's
on
like a whole
sooner?
backstory. When she had cancer, they like froze her embryos and then like fertilized them or whatever because they were married. And then
Is he
she
Katherine
chose
Heigl?
to use them. Yes.
Okay.
I always loved him with Izzy. I think he had always loved her and that was always the one. So I wasn't terribly mad about it. But most of the fandom gets really upset over this. So Karev it is. And
I will say that you guys talked about DeLuca's death so much that I actually went back and watched his death scene. That was a bummer.
It was hard. It was really hard.
Well, mine too, it's Owen and Teddy.
Okay.
Because I love Kyle McKidd.
Yeah.
And so I largely base Grey's Anatomy characters off of that because that's the actor that I know.
I love Owen. I mean, a lot of people don't, but I do.
I've watched some clips of them because as I do the podcast and I have to pick out the YouTube images, sometimes I'll go back and I'll watch sections of the episode to find out what pictures I can use.
Yeah.
And I like his role with the veterans.
Yes.
I like that storyline a lot. And I think Teddy is super supportive of what he does. And she calls him out on stuff.
They're a good couple for sure.
Even though she calls him out on stuff, she still has his back.
And
I think that's something really admirable. I think that's something that you see in a lot of like Hollywood shows or movies that doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah.
And I think it's more realistic to how a husband and wife would work.
Yeah. No, I do. Honestly, if you watch, I do think you would be a fan of theirs. And just me knowing you, I think you really would.
Yeah.
April was another that I'm big on character growth. Because she started out sort of one of those.
Who's the actress?
Sarah Drew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she started out one of those where she was just kind of in her own world, only kind of worried about herself. And she grew into a doctor that was, just cared for her patients. I always loved that about her. Really strong. And like from her early seasons, I don't know if you would have thought that about her. But like she grew into being a really strong character. And and just a really strong person and everything. And she went through a lot of loss. And I think you would enjoy her as well. Well, no, because I think she goes through sort of she is one of the few on there that actually talks about her faith and how strong she is in it. And she goes through like a big thing of even a moment when she's like questioning stuff, but she comes back, and I don't know, you don't see this a lot on shows, and she sticks to her convictions, like even though like the other people that, you know, she's even in relationships with don't have, I mean, the same beliefs as her. And I don't know, she's a really strong role model, I think. I want a spin-off show of her and Jackson. That's what I'm hoping for.
Maybe. I mean, Jackson came back for that one episode, or was it two that he came back for this last season?
Her and him both came back on an episode.
But was it for one or two, just one episode?
He came back, he might have came back for two at different times though. But yeah.
I mean, if he's in between Broadway stints, there's a good chance.
I know. And she's not gonna be on Cruel Summer again, right? Because they're changing the cast.
That's what I know Sarah Drew from is Cruel Summer, and I hate her character in Cruel Summer.
I really think you would love. Now you might not like April when she first comes on because I don't think you're supposed to.
Yeah.
But I think you would.
And this one's gonna be a little harder.
Yeah.
At least for the
Are we gonna do
female.
Station 19?
Oh yeah, Station. See, I don't watch these shows. I can't even pick a female and male from that because I don't remember the characters you talked about.
I won't go into big detail, but see now this. Oh, I shouldn't have even done this. Probably Travis
Okay.
with Jack so very closely behind. Let me just say that. And then Karina. So see here, I'll make it.
Karina's DeLuca's sister, right?
Yes, I'll make
I
it
pick
up to
her.
him.
She's one that
Yeah.
I know.
She's awesome. Like she's awesome. Everything about her, like she's easily my favorite character on there.
It's up
I'm
to you
going
to
to
explain
pick
those
her.
two because I don't know.
All
it.
right.
I don't even know character names on Station 19.
Travis is another one you would like it because he's funny. Like he's always funny. Now, up until this last season, I think he's sort of never had any like meaty storylines. But I think he's gonna get one. He's decided he's going to run for mayor and he's gonna like actually try to make a difference with some things. So I think that'll be really fun because I think he can do it. He's a really good guy, and I don't know. Jack is a sad story though. Like I just feel like he is someone who can never get a happy ending, which just makes me so sad. He's just been through a lot, and he's a sweet guy. Like he's one of those that was really caring about his family and his family by the fire station. So I like him a lot. And then Karina, like I said, she's just awesome. Everything about her is just, I can't even put into words. I mean,
What kind of doctor is she?
she's an OB.
Okay. I just know what she looks like and I know her name. And when I was came to Luca's death scene, when you type that up in YouTube, there's a whole bunch of other scenes that pop up. And I saw her in one
watch?
of them.
Yeah, like did you watch her like on like the Station 19 episode after his death for her, like where she's all in mourning and like
I just watched the Grey's Anatomy. I saw her reaction on Grey's Anatomy and that was it.
no, there's like an episode where like she wants to like scream or something and they're like, just do it. And like, oh my gosh, that scream is just makes you want to cry all over again.
Let's move on to Gilmore Girls.
Oh God. Well, no, this isn't hard for me.
The girls are hard for me.
It's not for me. Logan and Paris.
Oh yeah, maybe it's not hard.
not hard.
I think I would pick Paris over. Yep.
Lorelai's close for me because I do love her, but Paris, I think.
I mean, I love Rory and Lorelai and the fact that it's relatable, the things that they go through, not how they spend money on food, but the rest of it is, you know, I mean, they go through normal life things, but I'm not a huge fan of them as people very often.
Yeah.
And Paris is just, I mean,
again, it's character growth. I think this is what makes you the best character for me most of the time.
And I remember, obviously, when you first meet Paris, she's a horrible villain.
Awful.
Yeah, Rory, just terrible. But then by the end, I mean, you see why she's that way in that episode with Parent Day when her mom comes to the school and they can't go to her house because her parents are divorcing. And then you watch her dad get flagged by that. Right? Like, there's all these things. But I love the episode when the freshman year at Yale. And Rory comes in there, it's PG on one door, and she comes in and it's Paris. She's like, can't feel my nose. It's such a surprise. I can't feel my face. And I was so glad that they didn't just eliminate her character because I think without Paris, that show's so boring. Well, I don't want to say boring because I do love all the bits that she's not in. I love them.
Yeah.
But there's just something about Paris that I think she is the reason why Rory has any growth at all.
I would agree.
Her and Logan, I think both are the reason that Rory has any growth.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, I know everybody talks about Lane being like Rory's best friend, but when you look at like, and I think that's probably typical. I mean,
oldest friends. I think
yes. And a lot of times, like your friends that you like are with in college, at least in my experience, are the ones that are able to go with you little bit further. Like there's always that nostalgia with your like childhood friend for sure. But the college ones are different. Paris, I mean, I just think the scene that always pops in my head is after like, and I mean, she's given it to Logan, who's my guy and all, but he like, I love how she's defending Rory.
Yep.
After we find out he's like slept with all the bridesmaids or whatever. And I mean, she won't even let him in the door.
I know,
And
I love it.
I love it. I love it because like, I mean, that's what you need in a friend, that somebody's just going to take your back when you don't have the energy to like fight this battle yourself.
What are you talking about? Herpes? Syphilis?
I love it.
And, you know, obviously Logan, I think now for those of you who don't know our schedule, which you wouldn't unless you're on our podcast team, we are having a Gilmore Girls Rory's Men debate coming up. Now, the way that's going to work is we're going to have an episode where we just talk about Jess first. Okay. We're just going to lay out the facts. We got Jess team members on there. I don't remember if I scheduled myself to talk on that one or not, but I'm not team Jess. But we're going to have one where it's just him. We're just going to talk about Jess, and we're going to have one where we just talk about Logan. And then our last one of season 3, our last episode of season 3 will be a couple weeks after that, where it's going to be a live recording where all of you can listen in, jump on, call in, give us your opinion. But we are going to have a debate then. You guys will be given all the facts about Jess, all the facts about Logan, and we're going to debate it out amongst each other of who is the better boyfriend. Now, Logan, I think, takes the cake. So I'm going to save most of that for the Logan episode, because if you've ever interacted with me on our Gilmore's page and you attacked Logan, you will realize that I respond in paragraphs. So I'm going to try to narrow that down a little bit. I think that everyone paints Logan as this gaslighter, which I honestly don't see at all.
Not at all.
I can't think of one single instance, and I watch for that stuff. Can't think
I
of
mean, if anything, Dean and Jess are way more gaslighting than
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
And he's painted as this frivolous, rich kid who has no cares in the world. Yeah, he was frivolous in college.
For like
he
2
was
episodes.
He
And
was
then-
also allowed to be frivolous, though.
Yeah.
They sort of encouraged him to be frivolous.
Mhm.
And it was his way of breaking out of a mold he felt he was being forced into. He was trying to break out of it the only way he knew how to break out of it, and the only way he was capable of doing it. So I don't think that's an accurate depiction of him at all. I think that he was the one who actually loved Rory because he wanted her to grow. He wanted to watch her get better. He wanted her to do what she wanted to do. He wanted to fulfill her calling and still be there with her. He wanted to go alongside with her, where her other boyfriends either A, wanted her to stay the same, or B, wanted to lower her standards to be with them.
Yep.
And I think Logan never expected any of that from her.
He just wanted her to be her.
Yes. And even in the college episode, or in the Yale episode where they had the party for her, she's a jolly good fellow. It was the Dale with the jail hats.
Yeah.
He even said to her, if you stay out of school, fine. I don't think you will because you love it, but you make your own decision. And she kept saying, you don't think I can? You don't think I can? And he kept saying, if you want to, do it. If you don't.
Mm-hmm.
But he was also honest with her when she thought she was making a mistake. Like when she wrote that piece about at that little party they were at. It was after Logan had his business. It was her senior year in college. And she basically talked down to all the people at the party. He called her out on it.
Yeah.
Did Logan make stupid mistakes? Absolutely.
We all do.
But look at Rory's life.
Yeah, exactly.
So Logan's definitely my favorite. He's the reason I turn to a lot of shows. But I mean, that's true. Same with Alexis Bledel. I mean, and Lauren Graham. I turn to shows because of them too, not just Logan. Yeah. But I think that Paris has the most, and she's the most fun to watch on screen in terms of females.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love Suki too, but I don't think we see I think over the years we saw more of Paris than we did of Suki. Suki.
It's not True Blood. We can't call her Suki. All I hear is Bill's voice there. Suki.
And I think that Paris, she was loyal to a fault. She was brutally honest.
Brutally honest.
She had no off button.
No.
And she would go from 0 to 60 in less than a millisecond. I love when she had her life coach. They were in her dorm, and that little 15-year-old Tanner was her name.
I think so.
Was their roommate. And she just asked her a question about her macaroni corner, and Paris started to lose her mind. She's like, and he went, Paris? She was baiting me.
Paris.
You smile when she's on screen. You can't help it.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh, the next one's a hard one for me.
Okay.
It's our newest one.
Oh.
Stranger Things. This is super hard for me. I have like a top 3 of the guys. And then I have I actually have a top 4 for the girls.
All right, I'm gonna just go with, because I'm just gonna make this nice and easy, because we're on time frame here. The ones that I have the most fun watching, and that is Steve and Robin. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Final answer.
Well, you talk about why while I take this over in my head here.
I mean, again, I'm gonna say, at least for Steve. I mean, Robin, we haven't seen character growth because she hasn't been on long enough. Robin, it's strictly because she's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that she's awkward and weird. And I love everything about it.
And she jumped right in, even though she didn't really know much of what was happening.
Yeah.
She just dove right in there.
And she does that even like, I mean, we've seen this in recent season. She doesn't know Nancy, but Buddy, they became like best friends,
Mhm.
like in an episode. It was, easy. She fits in really, really well, I think. And Steve, again, it's character growth. I mean, from where Steve was in season 1 to where he is in season 4, I mean, it's a totally different guy. He's also hilarious.
Mhm.
Him and Robin together. I mean, like, it's comedic gold. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's easy for me, I think.
I think this cast is so good.
I know.
And these characters are so great that it's super hard. Like to narrow down either men or women is super hard. I mean, because
Go with your gut.
Hopper
Go
and
with your
Dustin are pretty far up there for me.
They are for me as well.
Fairly far up there. But I think the biggest struggle I have is between Eddie and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Because we didn't get a lot of Eddie, but Eddie made me emotionally connected to a character faster than anybody else did.
Yeah.
So I think it's got to be Eddie for me because
Yeah.
he's the only character who actually made me cry because he was no longer there. I mean, nope, we're not gonna do that again.
Well, that's because Steve is there. He would make you cry if he was no longer there too. You know he would. Hold it together.
I cannot think about that death without breaking down. I don't see, I've never had this reaction with a character before.
All right, well, clearly it's Eddie then. So,
it's just something, and it's like, I'm not even like attracted to Eddie.
Yeah.
It's just the way Joseph Quinn did justice to this character is insane.
Oh, he was great. I mean, what he did in one season with a character,
right?
I mean, amazing. Yeah.
I mean, people loved Steve, but it took them a little while to love Steve. I was one who liked him from the first season on.
I did too. Yeah.
Like a lot of people were like, he was a jerk the first season. There's only like one or maybe 2 episodes that I didn't like him in season 1, and the rest I was like, all right, I like you. You're awesome. You're amazing. Because he's funny. But Joseph Quinn almost in one single season made the character of Eddie so integral to this world that people were as connected to him or more than the main cast that have been there for 3 years.
Yeah, no, I think that's true.
I don't think I've ever seen an actor do that. He was even asked that in an interview once of something along the lines of, you have made this character so beloved in one single season. How do you respond to that? And he's like, I don't have any words. And Joseph Quinn is so humble and he's just so adorable.
Yeah.
But again, it's not even like oh, you're beautiful thing. It's just, I want to give my life to protect Eddie. Yeah. That's just the way it feels. And for a girl, I guess I'll have to say Robin, although Max 11 and Erica are right up there. Right up there.
No, I agree.
But Robin, if I'm looking strictly at the characters and how they've grown and what they've done, it's got to be Robin, because she came in second season. Yeah. Third season. No.
Yeah, third season.
Really?
And I think she did the same as Eddie. Like, I loved her so much in one season. It was crazy. I mean, I love them all. I love Nancy. I love Joyce. I love everybody on the show. So
Nancy is a little further down for me, but still like her.
Anymore. After season 4, she's up there, I think.
She's not up there in my favorites, but I do like her.
Yeah.
I mean, that's saying something though, when you're on the low end of a totem pole, really awesome people.
Yeah, definitely.
You're still not low. You're just lower than.
Yeah.
But I think I can't believe she's only been on for 2 seasons.
Yes.
Wow. So she's kind of done what Eddie's done. Like she's just made us forget that she was not always there.
Yeah.
And she does just dive right in with, I mean, the way she was with the Russians, she didn't hesitate. If that were me, I would think Dustin and Steve were completely insane. Be like, nope, you're on your own. I'm not going in this strange, weird vortex with
you. Exactly.
And then even in season 4, Nancy jumped in and Robin was going to jump in and Eddie was like, wait, I thought there was going to be a conversation. Yeah, we lied. And just dives in after them. She doesn't hesitate. I think it's more that she just cares about people. And if she cares about people, she can't not do something and everything to help you. So I guess Robin.
I agree.
Okay, next one's a little easier. I gotta stop grinning at this one though.
Oh, I know who it is then.
This one is Friday Night Lights.
Okay. Who's your favorite, Maureen?
Tim Riggins is my favorite dude. I can't like shorten this.
This is your Styles.
This is.
He is also my favorite. I'll just,
Mhm.
for the record, he was my favorite long before he was your favorite.
Only
And-
because you saw it before I did.
Right. And then I had to give up ownership to him once you watched. So he's still my favorite guy.
I mean,
Favorite girl is a little harder.
I'm gonna go with Tammy on that.
Well, I'm debating between Lila and Tammy because I really do love Lila. Who do I
I'm
want to
gonna go
be
Tammy.
when I grow up? Tammy Taylor.
100%.
Well, maybe I want to be Lila because obvious reasons. But
I mean, I hope they ended together, but I don't know.
even if they didn't, and they were together. It would be a moment I would remember forever. No, I have to go with Tammy too, I think. I mean, Tammy's too great to not make her your favorite female on the show.
So she's my favorite girl, but Tim
Yeah.
Riggins takes every cake
Every cake
across
that's
all of
ever
our
been-
shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's so much Tim Riggins or Taylor Kitsch,
It's Taylor
but it's
Kitsch.
transferred over. So
I think it was Tim Riggins and now it's Taylor Kitsch.
it's
Yeah.
just mingled.
I mean, Taylor Kitsch is Tim Riggins. Come on, like it is what it is. Yeah.
Can't
We
slow
need-
this
We're
down.
gonna have to move on. I'll say a little bit. Okay. It's again, and I know I keep saying this over and over. It's character growth.
Mhm.
Where Tim starts to where he goes. Now
Oh
he
my
has a
gosh,
little-
that first episode is so brutal to watch.
yeah. Now, he has a little hiccup there in the middle, like when he gets out of prison and he's a little, I'm like, okay, Tim, let's get it together. But he has a reason to be that way. Cool.
Mhm.
I mean, just from that beginning scene where he's laying there with Tyra, beer bottles everywhere, to the end, him and Tyra again looking at that land.
Mhm.
And he's wanting to build this place and like make something for himself. Like, I mean, it's amazing.
And he doesn't waste his time on school when he knows that A, he's not going to follow through with anything. B, he's not actually going to enjoy it. So why waste the money on that, even the scholarship? And he's not really, he did
Mhm.
football because he was good at it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that he really enjoyed it,
Mhm.
but I think he joined football or he liked football because one, he was good, but two, he had that team spirit around him. He
Yeah.
had those team members that became his family. I mean, his family is super dysfunctional. All he's
Yes.
got is Billy, and Billy's
Yep.
dysfunctional because they come from the same family.
Right.
So this brought a team together, but also it was Coach Eric
Mhm.
that solidified that as a team and made it the family atmosphere it was. And I think that's the only reason Tim played football as he did.
Yeah.
But he never really enjoyed it. And that's what he got a scholarship to college for. It's football. I don't think he really wanted to do it outside of Coach
No.
Taylor.
I don't think so either.
I just want to say if anyone ever like writes, maybe I should do that. If anyone like writes a continuing story for Friday Night Lights or does a continuation story, Tim should be a rancher in Texas. That's what his
Cowboy
land should
hat.
be. Yes. The cowboy hat. Because even when he's sitting there, he's got the shirt sleeves ripped off. He's got the holes in his jeans. He's got the cowboy boots sitting in his framed house. A rancher. That's what he would be good at.
You're putting images in my head. We're just going to have to move on from this conversation.
But Tim Riggins is favorite across the board on every show that we have. And I've only been watching the show for less than a year. And so these other shows like Gilmore Girls, I've been a fan of since the year of 2000.
Poor Logan.
22 years.
Like Logan who now?
Conrad who? Logan who?
Right.
No, my
Shame.
face is red.
Quick, move on.
But Tammy's Tammy. She's
Yeah.
smart. She's unbelievably capable. She
Mhm.
rolls with every punch having a baby when your husband is in the midst of that and you're in the midst of your career change and you're in the crazy season and
Yeah.
the age. She's beautiful, but she is older. Having a kid
Yes.
at that age, can you imagine how hard that would be?
No.
I can barely do it now. And that was before cancer. I felt like I could barely do it before cancer.
No, there's
It's
no
just-
way. It's terrible.
And I mean, she has to put up with Julie's crap all the time. I just,
Julie. Julie.
Julie
I
would be
know.
enough of me to be like, all right, I'm all done. All done.
Well, I think she was, and it was like, oops.
She is an incredibly relatable character too,
Mhm,
because
mhm.
she shows hurt, she shows pain, she shows frustration. It's not all roses and rainbows with Eric.
No, I think they're like we were talking about, like Beth and Randall. I think they're
Mhm.
another example of they fight and they get on
Yeah.
each other's nerves and they like make each other like make Eric sleep on the couch and like
Mhm.
I mean things happen, but at the end of the day, they're there for each other every
Exactly.
single time. You know,
And even during the fights, it's not I'm right, you're wrong. I mean, yes, that's what it starts off with. That's kind of why they fight, because I'm right,
Yeah,
you're wrong.
no.
But in the end, they come together and like they both apologize,
Mhm.
they get it right, and they just move on.
Yeah.
They get it right together. So I think a lot of that is Tammy's instigating, because I think Eric is a pretty stubborn dude.
I think he would just ignore the situation till it went away, like
Mhm.
most men. Sorry if we
Yeah.
offend anyone here, but yeah,
because I think he thinks there shouldn't be a situation in the first place. You know, that's not even my favorite show of our shows. It just has my all-time favorite character of any show that I've ever watched.
Well, you know.
Okay, next one is Chicago. Well, we're gonna say that one for last. Chicago Med first.
I was gonna say, are you gonna move straight from Taylor Kitsch to Adam
No,
Rizek?
no, we're gonna take a little break.
All right, Chicago Med.
Yes.
Easy. I mean, Dr. Halstead.
I think my both are gonna be the same as
Luscious
yours.
red hair. I know to mention that red hair every time. Let's see. Female, unpopular choice probably, but Natalie.
Those are my two. Because I haven't I have the issue is I've seen 2 episodes of Chicago Med.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of Will on Chicago Fire and Chicago PD. So Will's automatically my favorite because I've seen him the most. Ooh,
And he's the
no.
best. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I might actually change to Dr. Charles
That's okay. That's acceptable.
because I do love him. No, I'm going to stay with Will, but I do love Dr. Charles.
Yeah.
But the 2 episodes I saw of Med specifically had Natalie in it, and I loved her. I love how she played her character.
Yeah.
That's the same girl from Vampire Diaries and Pretty Little Liars, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tori DeVito.
And
That's her name.
One Tree Hill.
So she's my favorite character because she's the one female I remember seeing on Med. And there was even the episodes, they were more characters on there, but she's the one that stuck out to me. She's the one that I remembered through the years. And so whenever I thought of Chicago Med, I thought, oh, that's the show with her in it because she was just so good at it.
What's funny is like we were just talking about like the reason that I picked Devin over Conrad was because of his morals. I mean, Will is kind of more of a Conrad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least especially in early seasons, he will break a rule if he thinks it's for the greater good. Natalie will too, a little less often. She's a little more by the book, I think, most of the time. So see, I don't know. There's just something about like, I mean, as these doctors, like if you're selling your conviction like the way that you are, and like this is it, like makes me believe like you have your patient's best interest at heart, but I'm gonna love you for it,
Mm-hmm.
even if you're wrong, which they are a lot of the times.
And he doesn't mind being wrong.
He does
especially
not.
if it means that someone lives.
Yeah, no, Natalie does. She does not like to be wrong ever.
I was just watching that episode of Chicago Med or Fire where that guy lit a grenade in the hospital, said he had something worse than
That's
Ebola.
intense. That's one of my favorite Will like moments. Like he steps in it. Like,
well, he wanted to black tag Severide.
mm-hmm.
And Peter Mills is like, no, absolutely not. You will save him. He's like, he's not going to live. And then when the Severide came out, Will came out and said, I love to be wrong. And walked out of the room.
I love that about him.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Prove him wrong.
That's a good doctor who they don't care about their stats.
No.
Like I think of Morris Chestnut's character, whose actual character name I'm blanking on.
Dr. Kane? Was it Kane?
Yeah, that's what it was. Kane,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
That's all he cared about were his numbers and how he had the best recovery rate and all that crap. Will doesn't care about that.
No.
He's genuinely in it for the patients. He's genuinely in it to save people and make sure people live long and healthy. All right, what about Chicago Fire?
Herman and Brett.
Don't know enough about Brett yet. There's not a lot of women I do know a lot about.
She will be your favorite probably.
I mean, I already like her a lot, but Herman is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I do love Herman. I just got to the so when I watched PD, I watched like 6 or 7 a night, and I was up until like 4 or 5 in the morning. It was bad. I didn't sleep, but I mean, I had chemo brain, so I had insomnia all the time anyway. So it helped to have something to watch. And then when I started watching Mad, I was only watching 2 a night. And the last couple nights, I'm like, can't shut this off. And I keep saying, this is the last one, this is the last one. And I just got to the one on season 4 where all the storylines that were frustrating me for the last like 6 episodes finally wrapped up. I'm like, okay, good, I'm done. And then Herman got stabbed at the end of the episode. I'm like, I can't turn it off now.
That's a rough episode.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was like, obviously I know he's alive
continues,
still, but
I think that continues on Med. You may have to jump over to a Med episode to see what happens.
I'm not switching.
Well, you're going to miss
too
stuff
lazy. I'm going to go and watch Med After Fire.
Because I remember when I watched Med, I was thinking, because I knew who Herman was, mostly because I also love that actor. I've loved him since Sex in the City. Like,
yes,
I've always
that's where I know him from.
He's surprisingly off to show you. He reminds me of my stepdad, which is kind of crazy, but maybe that's why I love. I don't know. Like, I've always been drawn to his characters, but and I was like, oh my God, what happened to Herman? Like watching this, but like I didn't get to see the part before it because I knew him.
Mm-hmm. So
you'll miss a little bit of it. But that's okay. You'll get to see it later.
And he's so like, one of the things that endears me to him is that it's the kid storylines.
Yes.
He is so, and it helps that it's probably because he has kids. He's a
It's
father.
him being
So
a parent. Yeah.
it alters you. And he is, and even Bowden says it in this episode that I just watched last night, that
Mhm.
do whatever it takes to save him because he's the beating heart of 51.
Mhm.
And the chaplain says, I'm well aware of that.
Well, and I mean, him just being a parent, like that is part of it, and that parents are, but
Part of
like
it is just
Bowden has
Herman.
kids, and
Mhm.
Bowden's great, but Bowden does not have that same passion for
Mm-mm.
like that Herman does when these situations come up. I love him. I love him with Cindy. I
Mhm.
love their relationship. I mean, he loves that woman,
Yeah.
and I mean,
And she loves him so completely.
absolutely, they have like the best like relationship. I don't know. I love everything about him. I think you'll love Brett too. I really, really think you'll love her.
She's my favorite paramedic so far because I'm not a huge Gabby fan.
I was a Gabby fan too, but
No, I'm not.
well, I know I'm saying two as
Oh.
in I like her and Brett. I did like Gabby, but Brett is one of those like she's another one of those like she's just good. I mean, she's
Mhm.
just a good person,
Yeah.
and I've yet to see her do anything that I thought was questionable ever, like moral wise. I mean, she's a good person.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I just,
Yeah.
she's just not as fun to watch on screen as some of the other people.
Yeah. I think it will. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
not.
I actually really like, I would like to be friends with Sylvie Brett. I would
Yeah.
genuinely like to be friends with her. But I just think, I don't know. She just,
Stella's another good one too, though. But
yeah, see, I'm only on season, I'm halfway
you
through
haven't
season
met her
4.
yet. Yeah,
So I think my favorite characters that are female are coming up.
probably.
But like with Gabby, I'm just not a huge, I mean, I don't hate her.
Yeah.
I could go with her or not.
Right.
Chili is driving me crazy.
Poor Chili. She's just messed up. Yeah.
I'm sensing that. But with Herman, like it's not even just the kids, it's those men and women in that firehouse.
Mm-hmm.
He will die for them in a heartbeat without even giving it a millisecond of thought. He would just
Without a thought.
sacrifice himself for them.
Absolutely.
Getting emotional because
I
last
think-
thing I saw of Herman, he was being wheeled into emergency surgery because he's fainting.
I mean, and I think to an extent they all would do that for each
Yeah.
other, but there's something about Herman. He really is. I mean, he is. I know he's not the leader. He's not Bowden. He's not Severide. He's not, Casey. But in a way, he is. He is a fatherish figure to
Yeah,
all of them.
exactly.
I think they all look up to him in a way that
Yeah.
you would your dad. So,
and I think
love
the others would sacrifice themselves for their teammates, but I
Mhm.
think that they take more calculated risks at every turn, thinking, how can they save the most? Herman just thinks not one of my children is going to die. Like that's just where his head's at.
Yeah.
And I think, I guess I'll have to say Sylvie because there hasn't really, I like Shay.
Yeah.
But
you'll like both Brett and Stella both.
I really do like Brett. I just think she's not as exciting to watch on screen. She's more just like, oh, you're so sweet.
She's like a Matt. I mean, if I'm being honest, like it's like Matt.
Oh, Matt Casey.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Casey versus Severide, whereas Stella's the Severide, without his moody stuff happening.
I think it's the reason Severide is as popular as he is because he is not always a nice guy. He is so unbelievably good at his job that it almost trumps everything else.
No, I agree with that for sure. For sure.
All right. So let's move on to what our favorite Chicago is. Because this is my favorite, is PD. And like I want to say Al is my favorite guy, but he's not my favorite guy.
Adam and Kim.
Yeah. Well, not Kim, but Adam, yes.
Who's gonna pick over Kim?
No, maybe Kim. Because Aaron frustrated me. I don't really like Haley. Oh, maybe Trudy though. I'll go Kim.
You don't have to. I mean, you can choose.
Oh, I'm not doing it because of you. I'm just, it's limited. That
Sorry.
show is limited on women.
Yeah. See, I'm weird. I liked Aaron. I like Haley as well. So I like them all.
I like Aaron, but I think that I actually think I liked her more than most people in our group do. She just frustrated me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, there was times for sure.
I think the only way Kim frustrates me is in the way she's back and forth with Adam.
Mm-hmm.
So she frustrates me the least of the women on the show. Haley, Haley is too high and mighty for me.
Fair enough.
But Ruzik is
perfect.
Ruzik is Ruzik. And even like, it's not even just his looks.
It's not.
Because like when I first saw him, I remember thinking that very first episode, I think I said this on one of our Chicago episodes, but
yeah,
I remember thinking, this is the guy that Jeanette's obsessed with. Why?
Yeah.
And then he started talking. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, because
I get it now.
If you were to put him and Jay side by side and they don't speak, they don't do anything, it's just a picture of them. Jay's prettier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he is. But Adam has a whole persona.
Yeah.
And it's gotten better. I
Mhm.
mean, Michaela, I'll go ahead and throw that out there. Something
Yeah.
about him being a dad, it just got so much better. He's just so like the way he didn't have to care for her.
Mm-mm.
I mean, him and Kim weren't even together.
Mhm.
He did not have to care for her at all. And he just did. She asked him to be like her backup, like guardian or whatever. And he jumped right into that role
Yeah.
and loved that kid.
Yeah. And honestly, when Kim first found Michaela, that whole thing first started with Michaela before she even adopted him, her, Adam was right there.
Yeah.
He was helping Michaela along too. He cares so passionately about the people he's protecting, even if he doesn't know them. And of course,
Yeah.
they all do. They all want to find the bad guy. They all want to get these people off the streets. But there's just something about the passion that Adam has for what he does.
Yeah.
I think of every time he gets really upset, like when Kim was missing.
Oh my gosh. I can hear that playing in my head. Like,
yeah.
Mm.
And even when that
and I don't
guy
think
who got Alan in trouble.
Yeah.
What was his name? I don't remember his name, but he blackmailed
Denny?
Adam. Adam went to Voight. Voight made him
Yeah.
do his grunt work. And I was like, can you not see how loyal this guy is? He came to you and said, this is what he's making me do.
Yeah.
He didn't have to come.
Even
He
though
did.
they were like threatening his family and stuff. Like, I mean, yeah. But no, like and I think it's even like when the Kim stuff, I don't think it was just that it was Kim. I mean, I think it definitely, but I think if it had been Haley, if it had been Jay, if it had been Kevin, if it had been any of those he
are his
would have
people.
reacted
Yeah.
exactly the same. For sure.
Yeah. And I think for Kim, what I like about her is, I mean, she's badass.
Absolutely. That woman can take, I mean, all that she's been through and to bounce back the way that she's
like the Steve Harrington of Chicago PD.
Yes.
Only it's lasted much longer. It's lasted 9 years instead of 4.
And also, I mean, I will say the same for her getting Michaela. I think Michaela has made me love both of them. I mean, she fell in love with that little girl so quickly and just, I don't know, not everybody in the world would take a child especially a child who's been through that, who's probably going to have a lot of issues, there's going to be a lot of work involved in making sure that child is okay. So not everybody in the world would be willing to take that on.
Yeah.
But Kim did without a second thought.
Yeah. I mean, she does have the added bonus that, she had her miscarriage. So
True. But I mean, even
I agree though.
That would, I feel like to a lot of people, that would make it even harder to be willing to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be an emotional like roller coaster to make this happen. But she took her in and took care of her immediately.
Honestly, the only time when I would get mad at her is when she broke off the engagement with Ruzek. And when he would think they were back together and she'd be like, oh, no, just kidding. But when she irritated me the most is after she had Michaela.
Yeah.
And then she only treated Adam like a parent when it was convenient for her. And then when he would lean into that, she'd be like, oh, no, you're not the father. I'm the mother. Yeah. It's all me. And that's why I hesitate to make her my favorite.
But I do think in the last few episodes, I think we've seen her treat him more as an equal. I do.
The last thing I remember is when she didn't tell him that dinner was changed. And
but so much happened after that.
See, that's all I remember is Adam being insulted.
I mean, I think that was a turning point. And then I think there was his almost overdose. I think this was a turning point for her.
I keep forgetting about the overdose. I block out painful things.
That was the most stressful episode in the world for me, if I'm just being honest with you.
I hated that episode because I remember you guys, I wasn't caught up when we had that talk.
My mom terrified me.
You kept saying about the preview. You're like, I don't know if it's Adam or Jim.
Well, no, that was a different episode.
I know, but that's what I knew because I didn't even get to the overdose episode yet. So I thought you guys were saying you didn't know if Adam was going to live or die. So I was like, this is it. He's dead. He's all gone.
He almost was. But I think that was a turning point for her. We probably talked way too long about Adam Ruzek, but it's okay.
All right, well, let's move on to another show that I don't watch, but I have had to watch parts of it for podcast, Ginny and Georgia.
Oh.
I know a dude that I would pick.
Okay, well, you go first then.
It's either the restaurant owner,
Joe,
or the little brother.
The little brother? Like
Georgia, Ginny. Which one's the daughter?
Ginny's little brother? Oh,
yeah.
What the heck is his name even?
Is it Max? Okay. I feel like, no, it's not Max. That's the girl in the show.
Max, that's the girl.
I don't like Max.
I do love Max.
She annoys. She's so moody and dramatic.
I love it. Okay, so I'm just gonna start doing these quick. I'm not even gonna think about them because then I think too hard. Georgia, Marcus. Georgia, I love Georgia. That woman.
I like her better than Ginny.
She is a survivor. who will do anything for her children, and I love it.
I definitely like her better than her daughter. So maybe I'd have to figure, because I honestly don't remember any other girl except for Max. And that's just not worth mentioning.
You might
for
like
me.
the neighbor, Max's mom,
Oh yeah.
Jocelyn from Schitt's Creek.
Yep. That's who I'm gonna pick.
It has been so long since that season has been out. I have forgotten names of people. Netflix needs to get it together and get my new season out.
I actually really do like who she plays in Ginny and Georgia. I really like her because that's my favorite female. Is that
There you go.
she's funny,
Although-
she's kind, and she's caring. I like her.
I do like Joe. I do, but I think Marcus is the one. I tend to gravitate towards these like people that I feel like need hugs and like I want to like comfort them, and I feel like Marcus could use that. And so like
You feel like Ruzik needs a hug?
I mean, he can have one if he wants one.
I would pick Joe because Joe, everything I've seen with Joe in it, he's been very kind.
He's a good guy.
And he's genuinely good.
Mhm.
So I think I would pick him.
Yeah.
All right, what about Sweet Magnolias? My girl Helen is my favorite. Oh, yeah, Helen. I would pick Helen and Jackson.
Helen and Trotter.
Trotter's the nicest. And
Mhm.
interviewing Hunter Burke really helped me love his character more.
This is what happens.
And
We
that's
interview
why I
these
stumbled
people.
because Logan Allen.
I know. Well, that's why, like, I do what, but see, Kyle, poor guy. Logan, top of my list. Kyle, sometimes you're a little emotional and
Mhm.
drive me nuts. No, I like Trotter. I think he's a good guy. I think he's like
genuinely decent human being.
yes, and he's always there to support like Maddie and whoever needs it at the spa. He's right there to step in.
Let's be honest, he doesn't just support Maddie. If he wasn't working at that spa, it would not be functioning.
No.
Trotter
Yeah.
like carries that place.
Yes. So I agree. Although Jackson this last season did like
That
him.
growth.
So let's see season 3. If he continues his growth,
Mhm.
he might take that top spot.
That's what it is for me. Just watching him go from who he was in season 1, who I
Mhm.
absolutely hated this kid.
Agree.
I don't usually hate kids, but I hated this kid.
Oh, I hated him too. Yeah.
And then season 2, who he became was just mind blowing. Like
Mhm.
and Helen Decatur.
She's awesome.
Do we need more of an explanation?
I don't
just
think
saying
we
Helen
do.
Decatur.
If I'm honest, I mean, there's nothing to not like about Helen.
No, she's phenomenal. Helen is another one who like I want to be Helen when I grow up.
Yes, please.
I mean, and like I love Maddie and Dana Sue sometimes,
Eh, sometimes. No, I do, but
but
she's a lot.
so Helen Jackson for me, Trotter, and did you say Helen for you or did you
Helen.
not say a girl?
Yeah.
Helen. Yeah.
No, Helen.
Right. There's another one where I only know basics.
Okay.
One Tree Hill.
Oh, okay. So this one is as easy as Brooke and Julian. See, I can do these quick. I gotta not think about it too hard.
What's Nathan's wife's name?
Haley.
Haley is my girl. I like
Okay.
her.
Haley's a good one.
She's just very nice. She's very kind. She's very sweet. And that's the storyline I remember the most.
Mhm.
Is that one? To be fair, I never really watched One Tree Hill. I've seen maybe 3 episodes in my entire life.
I think you should watch it.
I
But
tried.
just throw that out there.
Dan Scott's my favorite dude.
Dan Scott?
Just kidding.
Hold on now.
I thought you'd have a strong reaction to that.
Well, I mean, you like who you like. I'm not gonna judge.
You did when I said Matt Donovan.
Well, I like Dan Scott a whole lot more than I do Matt Donovan, so we'll just say that.
Yikes. Holy cow.
Yeah. No, Dan Scott's at least he's got good character growth. Maybe not like to a great character, but
There you go.
to a decent character by the end.
I would say Nathan, but
That's a good one.
because of how Haley carries him, I think, because of the change. Because am I right that he started off as a punk kid and then marrying
for
Haley
sure.
kind of mellowed him?
Well, meeting Haley, him and Brooke both, like, I mean, if we talk character growth, it's some of the best I've ever seen on any show. I mean, because he goes from like the jerk you want to punch in the face to like husband goals. Like
Yeah.
everyone needs a Nathan Scott. He's like Jack Pearson level. Like he's
That I
awesome.
remember. Because it's weird because I saw seasons in the very, very beginning, or I saw episodes in the very, very beginning. I saw them after they got married. I saw Julian and Brooke together. I also saw Peyton and Tristan. Tristan, I know is not his name in that show, but it's his name
Lucas.
Gilmore Girls.
Yeah,
Lucas.
yeah, Lucas.
I saw them together when they were in like college or something.
Uh-huh.
It was right before Peyton left the show. So I saw them in like different parts of their lives going on in the show.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember why I watched it at those weird times, but that's what I
Oh.
remember.
Yeah, and Brooke is the same way because I mean she's a mean girl. She's sort of like,
Really?
promiscuous, kind of not really like only worries about herself for sure. And then she grows into a person that, is truly the best friend on the show, probably to anyone. She's caring and loving and, dream of being a mother, which is kind of crazy from like where you start from. She has a rough go getting there. And that will lead me as to why Julian's my favorite guy, because he comes in and she's had the worst love life. People are always choosing someone else over her or, just not giving, even her mother, not giving her the love that she needs.
Wow.
And he comes in and, gives it to her, gives her this love that we've all seen her deserve. For that reason, he'll always be my favorite guy. Because I just think, he truly was. He was loyal and he was like dedicated and like ready to be with her from like the get-go.
I did like that storyline.
Yeah.
From the limited run I saw of it. Does Sophia Bush ever play a character that has a good one?
Oh, not that I know of. Of course, I don't know her in that many.
Bunny wasn't really all that great either.
No. I will say though that Victoria on the show, her mom comes around.
I want
eventually once like Brooke kind of lets her have it and tells her kind of how she's been feeling, how she's treated her. She comes around and actually is a really great mom, really great grandma. Like it.
Our next show is Schitt's Creek.
Okay, David and Moira.
I would have to agree with that because
Moira's just funny. I'm just gonna give it.
It's just their personalities.
Really David has also got a really sweet heart underneath his hilariousness and his like no filter, which I love too. Yeah, but Moira, I don't know if I really think she's all that great of a person. I think she has her great moments, obviously.
I think she aspires to be a great person, but I don't think she understands what that means.
Yeah, she's very self-centered, but she's hilarious. And in a show like that, that's all you need to be my favorite character.
Ronnie's pretty high up there for me too, though.
I really
like Ronnie.
I like Ronnie and like Patrick's banter. I always loved that, like how they didn't like each other. So.
The softball team stuff. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I love it.
David, I feel like I'm more of a David sometimes than any other character on the show. I'm just not flamboyant, but there's a reason why GIFs and memes of David are so popular because there is something that he says or does that relates to every single moment you will ever have in your entire life.
I knew GIFs and memes of him way before I even watched the show.
Yep.
I was like, oh, that's that guy. Okay.
How did you guys start watching it? How did you get into it? Just curious.
Oh, probably Amanda.
Because we haven't had this group for very long.
It's probably Amanda.
Because I remember I just started watching it randomly one day. And I was like, oh, I got to stop. My husband has got to watch the show with me.
I think I started it a long time ago. And what's funny is like, it was like funny, but like, I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to keep going on this until like, I think I swear it had to be Amanda that suggested it. And I was like, all right. So then I watched like 2 more episodes. And sure enough, I was like, okay, no, this is hilarious. Like, I'm good.
Because it was right after season 6. I think it was a year maybe after season 6 had aired. Or maybe it was the year season 6 aired. Because it was just last year when I started watching it.
Yeah.
And I remember asking in our chat if anyone watched Schitt's Creek. And there was a couple of you like, yeah, I watched it. And then I think everyone started watching it after that.
Maybe it was you that started it.
Maybe it was me.
Did you?
I guarantee it was Amanda. I guarantee it was Amanda.
I
did mention
says.
it.
Yeah.
Because I started watching just on my own because I had heard so many things about it. And then my husband started watching with me and then we got hooked. And now every once in a while we're like, I miss Schitt's Creek. So I think, man, I might actually pick Ronnie.
Okay.
Because she's got that sarcasm and that wit and that care. And David obviously has to, how can you not go with David? Because he's just, anytime he's on the screen, 1, it's magnetic. 2, you just like, as self-centered and like crazy as he is, you want to be his best friend.
Yeah.
You just want that. All right, let's go to Bridgerton. Now, if it would have been season 1, I would have said Eloise was my favorite female.
I'm good on the females. Penelope. Oh wait, no, Kate. Oh god. Kate.
Ooh,
Kate. Okay, I'm gonna go with Kate. She's my favorite in the books too, so I think I'm gonna give her that edge just because she's my favorite book character. This is where it gets hard.
I know. Season 1, I would have picked. It would have been a toss-up between Eloise, Penelope, and Portia in season 1. And Portia only because she's so funny. Actually, not so much season 1, season 2 Portia. I really like season 2 Portia. But I'm not a huge fan of Penelope in season 2. I mean, I still love Penelope, but I'm not a big fan of her in
Yeah.
season 2. Lady Danbury,
That was a good one too.
season 1, even she was better. Maybe I really like the Queen in season 2, though,
Yeah.
especially how she is with Edwina, and that let's toss between her and Kate for me. I think I'll go with Queen
Kate.
Charlotte.
Kate and Benedict. I'm gonna go with it. Just
Benedict, I think, is my other.
you gotta stop overthinking this.
I think for me, Queen Charlotte, just because of how she is with Edwina and how she is with
Yeah.
the King. Benedict, because Anthony's acting. So Jonathan Bailey's acting.
Yes, I would agree.
If I had to choose the acting, I would choose him.
I would.
That
agree
wouldn't
with
be Anthony. That would be Jonathan Bailey.
Yes, I
He
agree.
killed it out of the park. Knocked it out of the park.
Well, we haven't got a chance to see Luke do this because I think he's gonna knock it out of the park too. I'm just saying.
Yes, exactly. And I think Benedict consistently over the last 2 seasons
Mhm.
has been consistent, hilarious, compassionate, funny.
Agreed with all of that.
All right, so we got 2 more shows.
All right, what we got?
This one will be quick. Cruel Summer. Now
Why
you
is
have to
it so
understand,
long?
Cruel Summer is going to have a new season with new characters, new
Mhm.
actors. So we are going to have season 1.
Greg and Kate.
Greg was my girl, guy, not girl, guy,
Greg and Kate.
and I want to say Jeanette because I don't like Kate.
Well, I would have said Jeanette until that last episode. So
I'm going to say Jeanette and hope that there actually is. It wasn't as it seemed.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that story was never finished, so we can think whatever we want. And I'm going
You
to
know
think
what,
it's
we
not
can-
as it seemed.
that's
Greg and
because you
Jeanette.
don't want to be wrong. So
Yep, pretty much. So I think Greg's a really good dad. I think he stuck it out. I think he didn't have as much faith in his daughters. He probably should have.
I
At some
think he did
points,
though at first, and I think he just got worn down, which I think is understandable at some point.
I think that I think that he should have been more understanding of what Jeanette was going through and why she altered.
I agree.
But I mean, who wouldn't be?
That was a tough
We
situation.
can't say what we would be like in there. Actually, maybe no. I think Derek.
I was leaning.
I'm gonna
between
pick Derek
Greg and
instead of
Derek.
Greg
He
because
did stay consistent,
Mhm.
but he also got to go away to college and didn't have to be in the middle of it like poor Greg did. So there's a difference there. I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, and well, I think even if he did stay, a parent's going to react differently than a brother would.
Right.
So, but I think Derek is just he's been there for all of them,
Mhm. Yeah.
even the sister. Can't think of her name. Kate's stepsister.
Oh, see, it's been too long. I don't remember.
I don't remember her name either, but he was there for her too.
Ashley.
Ashley. Yep.
Yep.
So I'm gonna pick those 2 and Jeanette because I really do. I struggle with the idea that we don't know if she called her or not because it was at the height of her popularity when Kate was saved and she was wearing a dress that she wore at the height of her popularity. So I think there's still a chance she wouldn't call the police, but just didn't give her name because she didn't want anyone to know.
It's possible. I agree with that.
That's the way it is, Jeanette. Last show we have is 911. We have 911
do
regular
both
and
of them.
911 Old Star. Lone Star, not Lone Star.
Okay, let's see.
Lone Star for me. I
Mhm.
love Judd and Grace.
Those are my favorites too.
Grace, I love that woman.
She's amazing.
She's
Yeah.
so strong and
Yeah.
she's so compassionate and she's amazing. And Judd is very firm and I mean, you watch him go through something really horrible
Mhm.
and come back from it, but still have to deal with the effects of that trauma. So it's
Mhm.
very real.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, Judd just and their relationship, how
Mhm.
solid they are, makes me love them more. But no, I mean, he's a leader in that group, not
Yep.
just, I mean, Owen is obviously as the captain, but I mean, Judd is definitely a leader with all of those people.
And in the community.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, yeah, he's a little kind of grumpy. He's a little rough around the edges first couple episodes, but it's because he's been through like trauma. He's got PTSD. He's dealing with like a lot of stuff. But once we see him come back, he's a great guy. So
Now regular 911 is a little hard for me.
I know Buck for sure.
Mhm. Buck is my guy.
But I'm trying to pick a female. Like, do I pick?
I don't know for me it's between Hen and Athena.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Maddie though.
I think Maddie for me is my favorite. But a lot of that, I'm going to say, a lot of it's because it's Jennifer Love Hewitt. And I've loved her since she was on Kids Incorporated. And we were like 11 years old. So I can't help it. She's going to be my favorite in everything she does, no matter who she is. It is what it is. But Maddie is sweet. And Maddie is like kind. And the way she cares for her brother, the way she took care of him as a kid. And that shows a lot about her character. Buck, again, with the character growth. He's definitely not the person he was when this show began. And he's He's obviously pretty too. I mean, I have to throw that one in here on him because it is, that's just what it is. Yeah, I mean, like I care for his relationship with Christopher and the way that he's like helped Eddie through stuff, that friendship. I think he's a much better guy than he ever knew that he was, if that makes sense. So,
and I think too, like when the very first episode I saw of 911, it was Buck in that fire engine with that girl. I was like, is this what this whole thing is going to be about? And he did not say that way. And I was really appreciative of that, first of all. But I mean, he's just like a whole character. And then when he lost Christopher in that hurricane,
man,
that was just insanely heartbreaking. So, and Maddie, I agree. Maddie is very nostalgic to me. For me, it was, I can't remember where I first saw her, but what's the first big role I've seen her in that sticks out to me is I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, that too.
So, all right, well, that is all 17 of our shows. So we've got a guy and a girl from each. Check those out. Look in our description for the shows that you can join the groups that we have on Facebook, or check out our other podcasts. All of our podcast episodes are labeled with what show we're talking about. So go back and check those out. We'll put some links to some of the interviews we've done. We've done a lot of interviews for a lot of these shows. Check those out and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because the more you do that, the more we'll be able to give you content that you like and that you want to see. I mean, we want to see more cast and crew interviews, and the more you subscribe to our channel, the more we'll be able to get that for you. So make sure you do that. I'm not sure what's coming up next for you, but keep checking the schedule, and we'll see you real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye. Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.